Well, if that doesn't get you into the Christmas spirit, I suppose nothing will. You're hopeless. No. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting and educational and informative episode of The Writing Lair. This wonderful and beautiful December 17th, 2020. In fact, right now, as I record this, there's quite a bit of snow falling from this Idaho sky. And so I can't help it. I mean, part of me hates it. Part of me is like, oh, no, the snow. But you know what? It's something about snowfall that just kind of helps get me in that Christmas mood. Unless I know that I have a drive ahead of me, then I hate it. But seeing it outside my window and I'm warm inside my house just puts me in that kind of a little bit of an extra Christmassy mood. So I thought, let's do one more episode of The Writing Lair before Christmas. And what better topic, since I'm fascinated kind of with the dark, the twisted, the paranormal, folk horror kind of stuff. I thought on this episode I would talk to you all about a Christmas figure that maybe some of you have never heard of. He's not very popular, or, he's popular in Europe, but he's not very heard of here in America. So I wondered how many have heard of Krampus or Krampus. He is a kind of a well, I first heard about him. I grew up my whole childhood, here in Idaho in America, and I've never heard of this person, this entity. In around here, Christmas meant a jolly old Saint Nicholas and his elves at the North Pole, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer guiding the sleigh at night. I had not. Anyway, that was Christmas for us, for me. But in Eastern Europe and in Central Europe, there's this figure that goes way back, hundreds of years, if not thousands, back to paganistic times, known as Krampus. I first saw him. I was a young man living in Hungary. And I saw this it was Christmas time, and I saw this kind of Christmas parade. Well, you see behind me, let's see, I have to scoot this way. There's, what was I going to call him again? I can't think of, Lothar. There's Lothar, just so you know, Lothar is with us today. Anyway, he's wearing my Jeep hat. Anyway, so back to Krampus. I saw this Christmas parade kind of thing, and there's Santa Claus, and ho, ho, ho. But with him, walking down the street, with him was this devil. This kind of goat man thing with sticks in his hand and a basket on one shoulder. And all kinds of chains hanging off of him. And terrifying. Actually quite terrifying. Horns. And that, I asked around, and that was Krampus. And in these countries, these Eastern European and Central European countries, he's this figure. So I thought I'd share a little bit about Krampus today with y'all. Sound like I'm from the South there for a second. Okay, so Krampus is this pagan figure that he's, like I explained, he's kind of this half goat, half demon creature. And his job at Christmas time, Santa rewards the kids. Krampus's job is to punish the bad kids. So he's depicted often. He's this kind of hairy goat man demon creature with these big horns coming out of his head. And he's usually depicted with this long, pointed, lolling tongue. He's got chains hanging from him. He's usually carrying a bag or some kind of basket over his shoulder that's for the purpose of hauling off naughty kids, okay? So in Eastern Europe, you don't get a lump of coal in your stocking for being a bad kid. You get put in Krampus's basket, and he will take the naughty kids and haul them, down to hell, or even better, maybe he takes you to his lair somewhere, boils you alive, eats you. So that is the Krampus tradition. He's Scholars aren't quite sure of his origin. Some have tried to claim he's of Norse mythology origin, that he is the son of Hel. If you know anything about Norse mythology, I don't know why that's so hard to say. Maybe I say Nordic mythology would be easier to say, but anyway, that is unsubstantiated. That's a theory. So no one really knows much about him. They just know he goes back a long time into the pagan past of Europe, and when the Catholic Church was moving throughout Europe and converting these people in these areas, they ran into this Krampus character, and he kind of they've tried to sort of stamp him out over the years. You can imagine why. He kind of this devil-looking creature. Pardon my furnace. I turned it off. Anyway, they've tried to kind of expunge him from the culture, but Krampus has survived, and he's actually experiencing right now kind of a revival in popularity. So, like the Germans, they have a Krampusnacht, where he comes at night, and a lot of times, anyway, he appears right alongside Santa Claus. It's like they're working together as a team. And but he's kind of the anti-Claus, the anti-Santa. He's there to punish bad kids. So here in America, if you're a bad kid, you just don't get anything from Santa. But there was a time in another land where being a bad kid meant a little more than just a coal in your stocking or missing out on some presents. So one thing he's also depicted I mentioned these chains that hang from him, and the little clip I showed, you saw the chains. So the chains are they don't think he always had these chains, and sometimes the chains are on his wrists like manacles and on his ankles. So it's almost they think, and they're not sure about this, but I kind of like this theory, because what happened a lot of times back in you're talking hundreds of years ago, when the church was converting these pagan kingdoms, these areas, they had all these pagan traditions, and rather than try to abolish these traditions or completely ban them, they just incorporated them and morphed them, molded them, and changed them into Christianity. So, like the Christmas tree, for example, was a pagan tradition. Painting eggs at Easter time, that was also a pagan tradition. So the church comes along, and they just changed things into Christian symbolism. So the theory is, and I kind of like this theory, is Krampus, his chains are a compromise kind of like that, where the church said, well, okay, let's have Krampus, he can still come, and we can still kind of have this Krampus thing, but let's put chains on him to symbolize that he is under control, or the binding of the devil, that he is bound to a degree. And so anyway, that's Krampus. I'm curious how many people out there watching this have heard of Krampus. I had not heard of him. I was in my 20s when I first heard of this guy, and I was actually over there in Eastern Europe, and like, what's this Krampus? What? And it's kind of like, who's this Krampus? What's this? Are we celebrating Christmas or Halloween here? So, that's the first part of this video. I just wanted to thought it would be a fun little video, and hopefully I have the technological and editing skills to throw some images and some clips or whatever in there. I also just wanted to point out we're just a few days away from Christmas. It's the 17th, so we're down to like a week. And hang up here. I do have books for sale. If you're looking for that last minute Christmas present, I think the Fifth Corner would make a signed copy, would make a great Christmas present to that loved one that you're just struggling with. I just don't think that giving a book as a present is a bad thing, or you can never go wrong giving someone a book for any gift. It's a time honored gift tradition, the gift of a book, the gift of reading, the gift of imagination. So $20 for a signed copy on my website, bradylongmore.com. Just go order one, and you can plug in the recipient's address right in there. You can put some instructions in. There's a little window where you can include instructions if you'd like me to make sure I personalize it to the person. Make sure you put that in there. And I can ship the books right to that person. I believe we're still within the window that they would get it by Christmas. But it's going to have to be quick. I have copies of the Fifth Corner. I don't have a lot, so I'm not going to sit here and guarantee you'll get one before Christmas. But I do have some copies, so if you were thinking about that for Christmas, then you better get on it. Another way, and this is guaranteed, is to gift them an ebook. Oh, by the way, I apologize. I do not have any copies of The Summoning right now. So, I am sold out of paperback copies of The Summoning, but I should get some soon. Anyway, you can gift an ebook. So the Fifth Corner here, Fifth Corner trilogy, all three books, they're $2.99 a piece, the ebook. So you could buy someone the entire trilogy for under $10. You just go on Amazon, and you just have to enter their email as the recipient, and that it's a gift, and they'll get an email, and it's like, yeah, it's really easy. It's really slick. I know not everyone reads ebooks, but if you know that that's someone who does, it's a cheap and instantaneous gift. They'll get an email telling them that they've been gifted these books, and they can go, if they already own a Kindle, of course it'll go right to their Kindle. If they don't own a Kindle, they can get on any device and download the free Kindle app, and they can read it on their computer, laptop, iPad, phone, any device, any personal device. You can download that app and read these books. So there's a last minute and cheap, but also quality Christmas gift that you could give. And yeah, I'm going to plug my books. Who can blame me, right? Well, with that, I think I'm going to wrap up this episode of The Writing Lair. It's probably the last one until maybe after the new year even. So we'll see. It's totally spontaneous. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I didn't think I was going to do this today. So with that, in case I don't see you again until after the new year, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Stay safe, be healthy, and I hope everyone has a great holiday. And until we see each other again, I wish you happy reading.